Stadium. Milwaukee's now tied with the Chicago Cubs atop the National League Central. At Wrigley, the Red Sox beat the Cubs 6-1. The Astros beat the Mariners 11-3. Houston's lead atop the AL West now 4 games over Seattle. The Phillies' lead atop the NL East is down to a half game over the Mets. New York beat Cincinnati 3-2, while the Angels pounded the Phillies 8-2 on Sunday. The Orioles beat Tampa 5-3. The Blue Jays 8-6 winners at home over the Giants. Toronto's won 3 straight. Their lead atop the AL East is 3 games better than the Yankees. New York beat Atlanta 4-2. Aaron Judge hit his 36th homer of the season. The Padres pounded the Nationals 8-1. The Royals beat the Marlins 7-4. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
It's a sweet deal. All you gotta do is just listen and start winning. We can't make it any simpler. Yeah, we'd be lying if we told you we hadn't considered asking for a cut. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the 2 best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Oh, yes. I love Monday. The best every day officially underway. Why is that? Because it's Moneyline, it's Donnie, it's Kevin, it's new week, it's new money, and it's hot topics. And Kevin, it's every single team, veterans and rookies, will be in training camp by the 23rd of this month, which is in 2 days. Most people, tomorrow, Kevin, everybody's in. I think there's one straggler team out there on the 23rd, and then away we go in the football season, which is fantastic. But on a weekend that we watch so many things happen, it's fun to talk about it on a Monday, Kevin. So I got hot topics lined up for us that we're going to mow down one by one by one. Hell Week last week is gone. A new week is here. The horizon shows the beauty of all the sports that we have, and we're ready, Kevin, to get into all of those hot topics today. Are you ready? That's the question. I'm already ready. I got 3 hours in. I'm raring to go.
I mean, I already took a dip in the pool, DRS, just to get ready for this show. I made sure I got moving around here. I had a feeling you were going to be jazzed up for today. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? Let me make sure I'm not asleep at the wheel here for DRS. Like, Will Levis is getting shut down. There's people are reporting. So I don't know which direction you're looking to run here.
Yeah, we got a lot of hot topics that started, like coming down the line, which, we were supposed to talk a little bit more baseball on the early line. I had this, you know what? No, we need the fashion police in here. We need the expectations on what exactly is a retirement and how you're allowed to say that you are retired, Kevin. But none bigger, maybe this weekend, which there are some things that get under my skin, Kevin, and nothing more than a really bad All-Star game. There's nothing that lights the fire under your boy DRS that shows, you know what? I could run for president of any nation right now in the world for my takes that are always spot on with all-star games. The WNBA, Kevin, and it's our job to watch it in the sports landscape, right? Do I love the WNBA? Not necessarily. Do I tolerate it? Not necessarily in that words. Like, I actually somewhat enjoy the WNBA if we equate it, Kevin, to 5 years ago. Like, they're in the news. They're worth following. They're legitimate games. The people are excited. The crowds, sellouts on a lot of part, and they have superstars. So I'm like, okay. If that's going on with nothing really major baseball or football, I don't mind the WNBA. So it's okay. All-Star weekend's this weekend. We'll get to the t-shirts that they wore in just a moment and what that means for the future of the WNBA. But Kevin, again, I need you as a younger generation than me because I'm not pulling a card that goes back in my day. All-Star games were never great, but I never got the view of, this is like a waste of time. I didn't tune in the start of the WNBA game. Maybe I want to say, Kevin, 2 or 3 minutes into the second quarter. I didn't even know what I was watching at that point. Walking up and down the court. I mean, when you talk about like zero defense, there was less than zero defense. There was a 4-point shot. And I say to myself, can't we, Kevin, once again, just play a semi-intense pickup game that resembles a normal game in the sport they play? Is it just too much to ask for? And I'm wondering why that's the case.
I understand wanting a level of intensity, but I saw that total pregame at 258 and a half and went,
yes.
Oh, now that's pretty. That's what it's supposed to be. Because my beloved NBA All-Star game, Donnie, was pumping up 300s, and then people had to come in, and every single year we don't know the rules. I mean, I still don't remember. What did we do last year? It's like 1st to 11. I mean, that garbage. It was legitimately awful. It was so bad, Donnie. It would make what happened on Saturday look like the greatest event in the history of sport.
Yeah.
I understand that. I would be crazy to say, no, Donnie, the best possible product is nobody tries. But my only thing, Donnie, is I've watched in the NBA the complaining get so far that every time they try and fix it, they just keep tripping over themselves. Where truly, Donnie, if NBC, and I think they may do some like USA versus the world stuff, all NBC would need to do is bring back East-West teams and just make it a normal basketball game. And that would be, and everybody would be happy. Total 306 and a half. And that would be, and we'd cap it a little bit, and that'd be it. Like, you even take it into our betting space, Donnie, right? Like, we got to the point with the NBA All-Star games, the same case with the Pro Bowl. Did we bet the Pro Bowl? No. Is it because we're above betting the Pro Bowl? No. I don't know what's going on. What am I supposed to be betting? It's a flag game. I have no idea what's happening. Yeah. It's crazy. So I look at the WNBA All-Star game, and it, like, I'll be honest, honey, I ended up not betting it. You know, I was out. But I understood what was going on. Team Collier had an advantage because Caitlin was out. They had a better roster. Total was nice and high because they're not going to play defense, and there's a 4-point shot. It flew over the number. Like, I'm not saying you should be happy with it, but Donnie, it's better. It was still better than some of the other All-Star game stuff we've dealt with in recent years.
But I'm not asking like to reinvent the wheel. Like the NFL, Pro Bowl game had to go away because in the day and age of, we don't really hit in training camp and we're trying to preserve the bodies. And you just, like, nobody would want to see like Patrick Mahomes go to the Pro Bowl and like tear his Achilles because he got hit a certain direction on turf out in Hawaii. Like, nobody wants that. And I understand where like football is like, you can't half-ass that and even have a product because people will get hurt by doing that, but nobody wants to watch it. And they did away with it. And also credit the NFL, which sometimes just like to beat on them. Kevin, they could have just ran the Pro Bowl out there and be like, should we get better ratings than all four of the, even though we don't tackle all four of the other All-Star games combined out here in these streets, right? So when I say to myself, I look at the basketball should be so much closer to baseball. Like baseball, again, Paul Skeens out there throwing 76 miles an hour. Like, we don't get that. So we get a semblance of the game. Baseball should be the easiest. Like, you can go anywhere and just find like a good competitive pickup game where you don't have to sell out. Like it's game 7 of the NBA Finals. But if they just played somewhat, because Kevin, we love the alley-oop dunks. We love the 3-point shots. We love the fun of the All-Star game. I just don't like the mockery of saying like, I don't even know what like a pin, by the time you get to like the second quarter, like a pin can drop in the arena because like, well, I mean, nobody's playing defense and I saw 67 dunks in the first quarter. Like, just give me a semblance and I can get behind it. And I can't believe like in one of the biggest stages where the WNBA, Kevin, is finally getting traction after like 25 years. And I was like, let me tune in the All-Star game. Now, they get hurt by no Caitlin Clark. There's no question about that in her hometown. That would have certainly driven the ratings. But at the same time, I wonder to say, would that All-Star game been different if Caitlin was out there? Because the other team would have been trying to defend her like it was Game 7 of the WNBA Finals. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even answer that question because there's a part of me that thinks like it might have been rough and tumble against Caitlin Clark's team there.
So the reality, Donnie, is like when you compare the two within the NBA All-Star game, you can start to like dunk contest the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So for the WNBA, like that's why the 4-point shot was actually a great idea because you want to give, if you're going to remove some of the effort, you want to give people things they've not seen before. So obviously, and again, the 4-point shot was largely there for Caitlin to shoot from, but Sabrina and anybody could do it, whatever they want. Well, here we go. So we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's one of those things, Donnie, one of the biggest issues basketball all-star games have, and I don't know what the easiest fix is. All you need is a close final 5 minutes. They'll try, and everybody will come away feeling good about it. Donnie, you remember when they first put those Elam endings in the NBA all-star game?
Yes, correct.
And, like, it was actually good, and they were trying, and, like, LeBron and Kawhi were locking up. Like, if they could just find a way, like, Donnie, again, first quarter, second quarter, it doesn't matter. Just go out there, have fun, shoot threes, dunk it. But what happens in the NBA All-Star game is one team gets red hot from three. The other team is shooting from even further than half court, and it's a 35-point blowout. You can't have a blowout in the All-Star game. How are you getting blown out? Nobody's trying.
More talk on the WNBA and Chris Paul. Clippers.
Of summer have returned and taken the field for the great American pastime. You should monetize that. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. This update brought to you by Linzess. Just 3 people remain missing, down from nearly 100 at last count since the Texas Hill Country was pounded by massive flooding on July 4th. Officials praise rescuers for the sharp reduction in the number of people on the missing list. Just days after the catastrophic flooding, more than 160 people were said to be unaccounted for in Kerr County alone. The death toll in Kerr County, 107, held steady for much of last week, even as the intensive search continued. The IT company CEO, captured in a widely circulated video showing him embracing an employee at a Coldplay concert, has resigned. Andy Byron resigned from his job as CEO of Cincinnati-based Astronomer Incorporated. The move came a day after the company said that Byron had been placed on leave and the board of directors had launched a formal investigation into the Jumbotron incident, which went viral. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Luck is a word losers use. If you think winning is only a matter of chance, you must be new here. We give you sports gaming strategies and information that changes outcomes others flip a coin over. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Francisco, Aaron, and Kristen out in the chat box. Hello, hello, hello. If you want to get in the chat box, SportsGrid On Demand with Restream on YouTube. Type in SportsGrid On Demand. Come in, say hello. Let's have some fun. But also thank you to everybody listening out there. SiriusXM channel 159, the SportsGrid Network. We do it big all over the place, which includes the best app in the business. Kevin, we are going to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers and the move that they just made in a few moments. But I still want to keep this here with a hot topic, which is rare, like a WNBA All-Star game. Let's remove the game itself, which I just want more effort. I didn't get it. I thought it was a big spot for them. They could have won, but also no Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. How good was it going to be anyway without her? So let's remove that. And you saw the T-shirts that they wore. pay us what you owe us. And of course, that's going to get the lightning strike right away. And I like to say this too, Kevin. In the sports landscape of things, the owners always win because the public is always on the owner's side. Because why, Kevin? We just want to watch the game. We're like, damn, they get paid a lot of money. You're telling me I'm going to have to miss the first half of the NFL season because they want more money? Get out there, you make enough money. Right or wrong? That's usually the public, on that. But the WNBA, and you can cook the books any way you want. The WNBA loses money. Does it really, though? Because there are some things to be said about, well, why are we expanding? Why are people buying teams? Why aren't there fire sales on teams? And why aren't we just out of business? Because the future of the WNBA is profitable, there's no doubt. How much money they deserve, I don't know. But here's where the question starts to come in. You're now in a good spot where superstars on a year-to-year basis are coming into the WNBA, which is great. We didn't have that before. Like Asia Wilson, where did she go to college, Kevin? Like, I have no idea about Asia Wilson in college. Do you know where she went to college?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, okay. Like, I had no idea. But I know where Paige Beckers went. I know where Juju Watkins, right, is going to college. I know where Caitlin Clark went to college. So I'm sort of like a newbie to, yes, we always knew the UConn teams were great, but we didn't know anything about any other team outside of UConn and the players that they had. Now we're running into, it's like, okay, the build is here. But tell me about this, Kevin, because it looks like they are headed for just like an epic clash of what the pay should be. Can the WNBA afford, and here's another kink in it as well, they're not going to have any negotiations, Kevin, for like the next 6 months once the season ends. It's just the way negotiations are. You know what? We're so far apart, we'll meet in like 3 weeks before training camp is supposed to begin. The World Cup comes to the United States next year in the summer. That's going to dominate a lot of things. Can the WNBA afford to like have a pushback season or skip an entire season, Kevin?
Well, so realistically, Donnie, the players are kind of used to not getting a ton of money. The owners or whomever, is on top of this whole thing, they're staring down the barrel of $100+ million TV deal because the WNBA ratings have been on fire. So I understand what you're saying in that, like, hey, people are going to be watching the World Cup, but at the end of the day, Donnie, these TV partners who just paid X amount of money, they better be getting their product. So I think that's a piece of the pie where there's going to be a desire for the other side, the non-player side of this negotiation to make sure that they get this done. And by the way, this stuff has always been pretty simple. It's not about dollars, okay? Very simply put, Aja Wilson is not looking to make the same amount of money as Luka Doncic, right? It's a revenue split. The revenue split between the WNBA and the WNBA players is presently very, very low, relatively speaking. And the WNBA, too, Donnie, is right to look to push this as much as they can because, you kind of mentioned, right, like the ground floor aspect of it. And you never know, Donnie, how things are going to go, right? Like the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, they've been around for so long. Like, well, that's always going to be a thing, right? I'm not saying the WNBA is going to fold, but is it on the board that this is the WNBA's peak of television popularity? Yeah, that's on the board. I like Caitlin Clark is that supernova, and there are players around Caitlin Clark, Donnie, that are driving eyeballs as well, like Angel Reese and Paige Beckers and Aja Wilson. Like, that's absolutely true. But we don't know what that'll look like in 15 years. We just don't know. So, it would be right for them to push for the 40, 45, whatever the percentage of that is. And, I think they'll, look, it's going to be a lot more. I don't know how much more, right? I don't know if they're going to actually be able to secure 40% of it, but and you alluded to it because Twitter, just there's so much nonsensical stuff that gets kicked around out there. Like people who are like, the WNBA is not profitable, so the players actually owe the league back money. It's like, come on, we're not.
I love
that. We're being ridiculous now.
Yeah, because the money that comes across, because again, they weren't profitable for a long time, but there's profitability and there's what we actually show based on our taxes, what the profit would be. Hey, we built a new arena. So for the next 15 years, I'm making $30 million a year. I write it all off. So we're not profitable. You can't get paid. But I do think the revenue split is interesting because the NBA does give them close to 50% because it's a very profitable institution. You wonder where those early CBAs were like, well, we really don't make money, so I can't give you a 50-50 split because we can't operate. We have to take more of a chunk of it just to run the operations, and then you get what's left. They're going to put it this way. The ladies are going to get more money than they do today. There's no question about it. But I just don't know what that split is going to be. And at the worst time, like, hey, yes, we're going to, like TJ Watt. Let's use him for an example. Like, he can afford to sit out and say, I want more money because, like, yes, we can't afford this to happen. He has to be in camp. But the fourth string, outside linebacker can't do that, right? So that's the angle they're taking now.
But what's interesting again, though, Donnie, right, is right now it is proof of concept that, hey, what drives revenue in the WNBA? The players. It's not the power of the league, right? Also, and I don't know how this lands in negotiations, like the biggest competitor, Donnie, to the WNBA is presently ran by their own players. Nifi Shikalier, Breonna Stewart running unrivaled.
It's very interesting.
Like, and at the end of the day, like, and I don't know if this would happen, Donnie, but I'm just saying if they all of a sudden they're like, we're going to go to a lockout, and they're like, sick. Caitlin's going to join Unrivaled. Now what? Like I saw, Donnie, the other day, Unrivaled reached a bunch of NIL deals with players that are currently in college. Like, you want those things to work in cohesion. But for the first time ever, Donnie, like they have more of a fallback plan than you would expect.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question for that, which we'll do after the break here, because it is very interesting the way it pertains to other organizations and other leagues. It's Donnie and Kevin. We'll be right back on Moneyline.
Stamping out the boredom in baseball year after year. We bring you all the angles, insights, and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1959, the Red Sox were the last team to sign a black player. Pumpsie Green played 4 seasons with Boston, but had little impact with the club. The Red Sox won 20 years between American League titles between 1946 and 1967. Many experts believe it was a lack of black players on the roster that led to 2 decades of mediocrity. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Until now, the only way to deal with pesky mosquitoes, the old-fashioned way. Now, if you dare, buy into a new Hong Kong-based Indiegogo project called Photon Matrix. A paperback-sized AI device uses LiDAR to invisibly scan for mosquitoes up to 20 feet away. And then high-powered lasers can vaporize up to 30 mosquitoes per second. One unfortunate problem, onboard sensors detecting humans in the kill zone means it won't fire. Otherwise, follow me at Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Maybe the team I look at and say I don't want to probably bet on is the Milwaukee Brewers, just from like a firepower standpoint, right? Like they have a solid bullpen and they have some good starters, but when you look at star power, the Dodgers have it, the Phillies have it, the Mets have it, the Cubs have it, the Padres have it, even the Giants have it. But overall, it's probably not a team that I'm looking forward to going deep in the playoffs.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Have you noticed how hard it is these days to find something to believe? Nonsense is everywhere.
But at SportsGrid,
we put our mouth where your money is. Because if we're ever wrong, you wouldn't win.
Get it?
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
One final point on this WNBA All-Star Weekend and the fallout that we might be having. It's a perfect time to talk about it because we're ramping back up in Major League Baseball. Camps are just getting back underway in the NFL, but it is a really hot topic, and that's what we like to talk about. The All-Star Game was this weekend, but the question comes up also. If we equate to other leagues, the NFL, well, there is the USFL or the X. I don't know what they call that secondary league. But can you imagine if Saquon Barkley was playing in 2 leagues? He played for the NFL, and then in the offseason, he goes to play for the USFL or for the XFL. The Eagles would never allow that. Same thing with any player in the NFL going, you're not playing off-season contact football while we're going to pay you as well with a chance for you to get injured. Well, we have that now in the WNBA with the Unrivaled. It's not 5-on-5, but it's still 3-on-3, and it's their players in the off-season. The conflict of interest where when you're coming down to we are going to play, is there ulterior motives, as I should say, Kevin? Let's just say the players, Paige Beckers, give me some of the people, Kevin, that are involved
that in it.
I know who plays
Brianna
in it, just
Stewart
like ownership groups.
And Nafisha Collier are the owners of the league, Donnie. So for reference, that is 2 seasons ago MVP, reigning WNBA champion, first ballot Hall of Famer Brianna Stewart, and also like Nafisha Collier, Donnie, I think runs the WNBA Player Association. Like she's in the meetings, like as the president, and is currently the league favorite for MVP. Like just to add to Donnie's point here, like the president forever of the NBA Player Association was like CJ McCollum. Instead, in the WNBA, the comparison would be, the Players Association's head is
Jordan.
Like it's unbelievable to imagine. You basically have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or like Luka. You know what I mean? Like one of the biggest stars in the whole sport.
Because the money isn't right yet. Because there's like NFL players get angry. Like, we don't make enough. Go start your own league. Well, we can't really do that and make the much money we have. I got to play in the NFL. And I'm not saying the NFL players get paid poorly. They make unbelievable money. But you look at the WNBA, and let's just say a good contract would be like $150,000. Like, what's Caitlin Clark make in the WNBA? Because I see some of the girls making like $70,000, $80,000 a year. And I think maybe Caitlin Clark even makes that as the rookie deal, where it's like it's not that much money, and Unrivaled has a better sponsor, and it's a smaller league to run, so there's not a lot of overhead, and I can make $200,000 playing in there. Like, do you not have an urge to say, well, if I crumble the WNBA and I started Unrivaled and we're a better ratings bonanza, I'll make way more money in here. So why should I play in the WNBA? Which you can't do. Like, you can't just say LeBron's breaking away and is going to make a new NBA. Like, there are antitrust laws where it's like, you're not going to go up against the Chicago Bulls in Chicago or the New York Knicks in New York City and be like, hey, no, like we like the Knicks and we like the Bulls. We're not joining onto your, which is why the World Football League, the USFL, doesn't rival the NFL because they can't fracture off and be like, hey, I'm going to play. Now, they tried the 80s, like taking number 1 draft picks and making it didn't work. It went bankrupt because the NFL is the supreme product. But how does it look where these girls can play in 2 different leagues in the same thing and have other motives? Like, well, I'm going to hold this negotiation against this other one because if this burns up, I'll just go play over here and make the same amount of money. And we might be able to make Unrivaled 8 months out of the year now. You see what I mean?
No, yeah, like Donnie, so a lot of them, for anyone who doesn't know this, but most WNBA players had to play overseas. They had to play year-round because the WNBA salary wasn't enough. To give people an idea, the highest cap hit this season in the WNBA is under $250,000. Yeah, there's 25 players who make $200K or more. 25, $200K. And listen, you can absolutely say for a sport, but it just when you think about how much we talk about the WNBA now, and then you see those figures, that's jarring. But that like Donnie, remember the NBA lockout and like KD's playing at Rucker Park and LeBron and KD are playing like flag football occasionally. Well, what if instead of that they were playing in, France for the brand league? But no, like they were playing in their own players ran league of 3-3. And it was LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh against Durant, Harden, and Steph. You're like, whoa, wow, I'm watching that. I'm tuning into that. Kind of. So it's a very interesting piece of this whole thing. And I wonder if, like, Donnie, part of the reason they made Unrivaled, I am sure they are not interested in folding up that league for what it's worth, but I wonder if they thought this will be a really helpful negotiating piece for us. And it has to be.
Like the AFL and the NFL back in the day, Kevin. Could have been one of those pieces where like the WNBA just buys Unrivaled and whoever started it made a lot of money on top of that as extra jobs, or you just make the WNBA a longer season and they absorb that. It's 3-on-3, which I don't like 3-on-3. But if it's an outlet for those players to make money in a sport where it's like we don't really make much money in our other league anyway, those can hang on. Like if the WNBA was paying $7 million a year, Unrivaled would never have been started in the first place. More hot topics on the way. Chris Paul lands in LA, people.
If you ever hear a Taylor Swift song here, something has gone horribly wrong. We only give you sports gaming strategies and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Scottie Scheffler won his first Open championship in his fourth major overall on Sunday. Scheffler had a final round of 3 under 68. He played all 4 rounds under par and finished at 17 under, 4 shots clear off Harris English. Lucas Glover and Dustin Johnson both recorded a final round of 69 and finished tied for 23rd at 6 under par. Denny Hamlin prevailed in Sunday's NASCAR race at Dover. He took the lead from Chase Briscoe following the restart of a second overtime. He pulled away to his 4th win of the season by just over 0.3 of a second. It was the 58th win of Hamlin's career. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, and Ty Gibbs rounded out the top 5. Most NFL training camps getting underway this week. The Chiefs have locked up defensive end George Karlaftis with a 4-year contract extension. The Seahawks have released tight end Noah Fant after 3 seasons. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus, offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chevy.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Let's keep it real. Baseball can be boring. That's where SportsGrid comes in. Nothing livens up those 9 innings like sports gaming. You might experience something you've never felt in a baseball game, a quickened pulse. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yo, right back at it, having some fun, kicking it. WNBA talk, over to NBA talk. Chris Paul, 21 years in the NBA, thought he might be retiring. Nope, he's not. He's going to the land of misfit toys out in L.A. That's the Clippers. How about that? I mean, the Clippers are signing Bradley Beal and Chris Paul to aging veterans that they already have. Look, I understand we love names in this business, and L.A. is a star town. But please tell me what the Clippers are doing this year, Kevin, while I'm supposed to believe in them more than years past. Or is it just they're signing cheap? What's the big deal? It's not going to have an impact anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I think there is something to that, right, Donnie? Like, it is not as if there was, oh, come on, you signed Chris Paul for the minimum? You could have got, right? So that's fine. And ultimately, we talked about this past weekend, but the Bradley Beal contract, Donnie, if you look at the Norman Powell trade, it was a little bit weird. But what really happened was they knew they were getting Bradley Beal because clearly the level of tampering on this one was through the roof, or it was, allowed, whatever it was. So basically, Donnie, it was, do you want Norman Powell or do you want Bradley Beal and John Collins? And that was kind of the decision that they made there. I look at their roster, Donnie, and there's a lot of guys. There's absolutely a lot of guys. It seems like they can run deep, and that's important when you're running out, as you mentioned, season 21 Chris Paul, Kawhi being everything that Kawhi is, Harden a bit older, Beal a bit older. So I think, Donnie, they have a very high regular season floor. Like this basketball team who won 50 games last year should very easily win 50 games again. But there's also aspects of this I'm not sure are actually going to work. Chris Paul had said he really wanted a starting point guard job. Now, he didn't want it as much, Donnie, as playing in LA for his final season. But there was a moment, I don't know if you, like Donnie, the last 2 teams he was really deciding between were the Clippers and the Suns. It's like the Suns. He's going to go back to the, and it's like he just wanted to start. So, but ultimately he chose the Clippers. Okay, but how long is Chris Paul going to have fun sitting behind James Harden? For anybody who doesn't remember, their tenure in Houston together ended quite terribly. Okay? Then there's Bradley Beal. And Donnie, I don't know if you saw this, but my goodness, is this just such an up-your-alley comment. Bradley Beal's agent basically came out and said, when you have Bradley Beal, You got to let Bradley Beal be Bradley Beal. And we're pretty excited because we think the Clippers are going to do that. And now I'm like, hold on a second. Somebody tell Bradley Beal he was getting 20 shots a game again like he's in Washington. Because now I'm looking at Bradley Beal and everything that played out in Phoenix. And it seems like what Bradley Beal thinks went wrong is he didn't get the ball enough on his team with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. So now it looks like Bradley Beal's going to go up to the Clippers and be like, well, why wouldn't I be the leading scorer? So, like, again, there's a lot of guys there. You could talk to me about all win totals and things like that. But there's elements of this DRS similar to you. I'm at arm's length with.
Yeah. It's just, again, they're great names. They put them together, but it doesn't mean anything. Marcus Smart goes to the Lakers. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's buyout season. It's the way it is. And we'll see who shows up next year to try to take down OKC. But just seeing that, like, Clippers, I'm thinking we're going to retire at that point, and then he goes back to the business here. Now, other things, there is a quick point I'm going to make at the end of the show on retirement I saw from an NFL athlete, which I thought was funny this morning. But Scottie Scheffler, Kevin, won another major championship, the most boring golfer to ever win any championship any time here, who's absolutely dominant. Scottie Scheffler in that win yesterday, I tuned on because it's great. You don't have to wait all 6:30 on a Sunday night to see who wins it. It's early afternoon. They're playing, but a lot of the wind taken out of the sails for people that just want to watch golf and say, I want to watch a major, Kevin, but I want to see it come down to the end with big names here all fighting for it. He took all of that out of the sails on Saturday night. Sunday was basically a coronation. I'm going to play 18 holes of golf, then I'm going to get my trophy, and so be it. Scottie Scheffler for the game. I don't know. He's unbelievably talented, but I don't know how great he is for the game overall unless he really starts to pile up wins 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and he's chasing down Jack and Tiger on the all-time all-time majors list. Your opinion on Scottie Scheffler wins another one on Sunday. Do you like him? Do you enjoy it? Or it's just golf and it's background noise to you?
So, listen, I am not the biggest golf fan in the world, and what that translates over to is I can't necessarily tell you what it was like when Tiger was Tiger. Also, because the beginning of Tiger, I was like 4 or 5 years old. But here's one of, I think, the problems for the Scottie run, Donnie. If you look through the other names that finished, T4 or better, because to me, it's not just like, oh, Scottie is dominant. Mm-hmm. Respectfully, Harris English, okay? Chris Gotterup, who we just heard of 2 weeks ago for the very first time. Wyndham Clark, who's basically somehow, ripped a major off of Rory, and then now might maybe banned at another major championship. Matt Fitzpatrick. Hatung Lee. Okay, well, again, maybe it was different, Donnie, but I know Tiger, right? Like, I know who Vijay Singh is, right? I know you have Phil Mickelson. To me, I don't know, every other major, it feels like Jon Rahm is maybe good, maybe not. Xander Schauffele hasn't been in the mix at all. He was as good as Scottie, it felt, last season. Victor Hovland 2 years ago looked like he was ascending to greatness. I don't even know if Victor Hovland's good at golf anymore. Bryson DeChambeau is only here 4 times a season being relevant and a part of the conversation. Colin Morikawa was, again, supposed to break out and be this star. And Colin now, rip you a top 20, maybe a top 10, but not a lot of, putting him up on the mantle. So to me, Donnie, and I know people are doing the Scottie versus Tiger comparisons. Honestly, it's not my bag. And people are saying it's the competition is a lot deeper. I can absolutely see that. My problem, Donnie, is who is Scottie's rival? I know Tiger's rival. It was Phil. Yep. Who is Scottie's rival right now? Bryson? That's ridiculous. They're not even playing on the same tour.
Yeah. It's, again, remember Brooks Koepka was at Next Coming, and then they split the tours and sort of messed up. Because you're right. You do need a rivalry. Dating back to Jack Nicklaus going toe-to-toe with Arnold Palmer. Arnie's Army. The public loved Arnie, but you need a villain, which was Jack Nicklaus, who was that younger upstart taking over for the absolute legend. You do need those. You need the passing of the torch at that point. I'll never forget, in the height of the Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, rivalry, it was all about, clubs. Phil Mickelson was... used to be with the company when he first started, I think it was Yonex, and then he went to Callaway, which is very popular as well. But Tiger was with Titleist. He used to hit Titleist irons, but then with the Nike on that major deal, which he made a ton of money off of. And I remember Phil Mickelson used to jab him and say, on live programming, Imagine how good Tiger would be if he didn't even have the inferior Nike equipment. Like, they were just taking jabs at each other, like left and right and firing up. And then which led to the match. Like, we're not going to get any the matches anymore. It's like, oh my God, they're playing for all this money. Phil and Tiger head to head, which is funny. Like, Phil won that. But those rivalries will make out fun. Also, like the freewheeling spirit of like Phil Mickelson, the all shucks guy, fun and always talking to the media, hitting wild shots, amazing. He was a lefty, flop shots all over the place, versus Tiger, who's just like Kobe Bryant, a stone cold killer. And that's all he worried about. Like, he would, hey, Tiger, you would have to give up 15 years of your life to win one more major. Like, kill me tomorrow, let me win the Open today, and I'll be fine with it. I don't know if we get that out of Scheffler, because his comments the week before, convoluted. He tried to make him better sense of it on Sunday. But sometimes we just want, like, either be a dominant force, but mix in a little bit of that villain, like, hey, you won by 5 shots. I should have won by 10. I'm embarrassed in my performance. Like, we like that out of our superstar golfers. We just don't get that with Scott. He's dominant, but he's dominant in a way that's not like, hey, I really would love to get on this guy's bandwagon.
Yeah, I think it would be ideal if Scotty grabbed the microphone and was like, I got to be honest with you. This was easy. These guys stink. I barely want to be here, and I smoked them. 17 under. I could have gone 20 under if I needed to today, but honestly, it was a practice round. Who was chasing me down? Rory. He got his green jacket. He'll never win one again. Like, John Rahm, these live bums. They ran from the grind. So it makes it even easier now because I'm just putting up and we're like, whoa!
Yes.
We need. But also, Donnie, like, you got to mean it to do that. And he wouldn't mean it. So
yes, you need the villain. You need the villain, and we might not get it. By the way, I got a quote here from a NFL coach about the preseason, Kevin. Are we lying or are we not?
This is sports gaming information you can use. Expert analysis on odds, insights, and strategies you can literally take to the bank. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Denny Hamlin prevailed in Sunday's NASCAR race at Dover. He took the lead from Chase Briscoe following the restart of a second overtime. He pulled away to his 4th win of the season by just over 0.3 of a second. It was the 58th win of Hamlin's career. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, and Ty Gibbs rounded out the top 5. Most NFL training camps getting underway this week. The Chiefs have locked up defensive end George Karlaftis with a 4-year contract extension. The Seahawks have released tight end Noah Fant after 3 seasons. Scotty Scheffler won his first Open championship in his 4th major overall on Sunday. Scheffler had a final round of 3 under 68. He played all 4 rounds under par and finished at 17 under, 4 shots clear off Harris English. Lucas Glover and Dustin Johnson both recorded a final round of 69 and finished tied for 23rd at 6 under par. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Macy's has summer deals so big, it's like Black Friday in July. Come in for unbeatable summer savings, like dazzling fine jewelry, now 40 to 75% off, and airy linen blazers from Tommy Hilfiger and more for over half off. Plus, get 3-piece floral print comforter sets for just $21.99. These deals are too big to wait for November, so hurry in. Black Friday in July starts Wednesday at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Ah, springtime. When a young man's fancy turns to
Get your mind out of the gutter.
For sports gaming strategies and information that gives you an unfair advantage, you'll find it all right here.
It's the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Oh, let's get down to business. Let's get down to the business, people. You know that this week, Kevin, everybody is going to be in training camp by Wednesday. That's phenomenal. Next Thursday night, you will watch a preseason game on your television. Preseason usually is a big waste of time. Preseason was only put in not because they said, oh, we got to have scrimmages. Like, no. The NFL, before these monster TV deals, used to have 6 preseason games. 3 home, 3 away, because they could sell the tickets at the same regular season price as the regular season games. One of the biggest travesties for what? From 03 to 17, I was a season ticket holder for the Eagles. For the Eagles to play at home in week number 2 in a 4-game slate in the preseason was the same exact ticket price as a Monday Night Football game against the Dallas Cowboys. And I used to lose my mind over that. It was just the way it was, the way it was going to be, and that's the way it is. Now, Zach Taylor, well, I guess they're opening up training camp, Kevin. He was telling the media today. He said the plan is for starters to play much more in the preseason this year. How do you feel about that? Is he lying through his teeth? Or does that mean hey, we're actually going to get players ready for game number 1?
Yeah. Donnie, I think we can decipher this pretty easily.
Oh, my goodness.
No. This is not a Zach Taylor. Just let's make sure I'm not losing my mind. Cincinnati Bengals head coach, correct?
Correct.
Cincinnati Bengals, every year they show up. First 2 weeks of the season, they have no idea how to play football.
0-3. Just get us to 0-3. We'll start.
Basically, Donnie, Zach Taylor already making a coach of the year case. This team does show up usually to start these seasons, and you're like, I do not understand what is going on. The problem, Donnie,
when's Burrow getting his kidney taken out this offseason, right? That's coming up. Just something random for him.
Just so everyone understands, the worst defense you've ever seen, week number 1, they lost at home to New England.
Correct.
16-10, Joe Burrow threw 164 yards, no touchdown passes.
Oof.
Right? Because this is what they do. Let me see if 2023, week number 1, Cleveland Browns, they lose 24-3. Joe Burrow, 14 of 31, 82 yards, 82, no touchdown passes. So this is this thing with Joe Burrow. To go back even further, they lose the first 2 games of the season. Joe Burrow in week 1, 2 touchdown passes, not bad. 4 interceptions. The following week, you'll remember it, Tony, they lose in Dallas, 20-17. Only problem, Cooper Rush was the quarterback. So this has been something the Cincinnati Bengals have done now for 3 consecutive years, where specifically a consensus top 5 quarterback in Joe Burrow shows up and it looks like he doesn't know how to play football. So that's good coaching, Donnie. Now, also, let's fade the Cincinnati Bengals in preseason. Let's not be scared to put that in our back pocket.
Yeah.
Because those numbers are going to be high, and Joe Burrow is going to be out there slinging garbage. Chase is going to be pissed. He's like, I have to play because Joe can't figure this thing out. You got to be kidding.
I just got paid. I want to be my Ferrari. I don't want to be playing in preseason games at this point. But also, if we take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals, Duke Tobin, I guess, they must have had their media day today. Duke Tobin's, I don't know if they call him the general manager, but the de facto general manager of the Bengals, says on Trey Hendrickson, he's an important part of our team. He's under contract, and we expect all our guys under contract to be here. I'm telling you right now, if you could just vote on NFL owners, they would operate their teams so much differently. They're like, hey, we're voting you out. You got to sell the football team. But the fact that that's every defensive end is just getting absolute paid out the wazoo. The way, again, you'd rather have TJ Watt than you would probably Trey Hendrickson. Just overall better player. But the results are, both of those guys are unbelievable performers. TJ keeps getting new deals and I'm going to hold out because this might be my last chance at a really good deal. And the Pittsburgh was like, you know what? We love you. We're going to pay you. It might take a little bit of time. We get you into camp. We're ready to go. And the Bengals are like, you know what? We just gave you a deal 3 years ago. We're not giving you another deal. You're going to play on non-guarantees and you're going to like it because of that same thing right there that you said. You're under contract and we expect them to report to camp. It's unbelievable the amount of levels that there are to franchise and how they operate with Kevin, not bum players hey, I failed my last 3 drug tests. I want more money. We're not going to do that for you. That's a waste of money. An unbelievable sack artist performance. I just want to be paid like my peers. And buddy, you're under contract. Deal with it.
I have a Shamar Stewart question for you.
Yes.
What percentage, or Donnie, scale of 1 to 10, the likelihood that Shamar Stewart does the go back to college thing and is drafted next year? That's been kicked around.
But here's the problem, though. When you read between the lines, like the CBA says, Kevin, which is really weird, if he goes back to college and plays, the Bengals still own his rights. Oh. If he sits out this year, they don't own his rights. See what I mean? I got him for 5 years. So if he goes, I'm just not going to play and get into the draft next year. It's interesting because usually you'd say this like, well, hell yeah, go back to college. Like a first-round draft pick. What's that worth to Alabama football? $3 million bucks? Mm-hmm. Boom! I'll go right back in the draft. And as long as I don't get hurt, I'm probably going to be a first-rounder again next year with a better organization. But it's hard to sit out and then come back. So he's really dug in, though. And so are the Bengals. Can you imagine if the Bengals just like, we'll just give you a normal contract. Come into camp. We need a first-round pick to rush the quarterback. And instead, the Bengals are like, Trey, you sit out. First-round pick the end. You sit out. And we're somehow better off for it. It's unbelievable.
Donnie, it's such a good point. Like, they drafted Shamar Stewart because they're like, ha, Trey, we got a guy that can replace you. And now they're just sitting here doing this nonsense. And, like, it's truly, truly unimaginable.
Yeah.
Because, like, one of the factors of it, Donnie, is I would be fascinated to know, like, where does Shamar Stewart get drafted if I just tell you he sits out the whole year? Like, does this guy still go in round one? Because, like, there's a lot of risks to the whole thing, though, of it. Like, Don, he didn't go top 5. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons and those guys sat out because of COVID. So it's really one of the more, you know, bizarre situations. And I'll tell you this, Don, like, I went through that Cincinnati defense. It looks like it should be better this year.
Yeah.
If they only have one of those guys, If they have neither one of those guys, they're the worst defense in football. Not even a question in my mind.
Al Golden brought over to sort of right the ship where they could be lightning in a bottle, the Bengals. Bring those 2 pass rushers in. It can't be any worse than last year. Burrow's healthy, and away they go. It's not hard. It's not.
We don't care what your high school girlfriend told you. You are a winner. Or at least you will be if you keep it here. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
For anyone who's worried about back taxes, has not filed tax returns, and doesn't know what to do next, stop and listen. Not filing your taxes can have severe consequences, especially in this political climate. Now that COVID is over, the IRS is getting aggressive, massively increasing enforcement and collection efforts. With politicians making all sorts of promises, especially when it comes to taxes, hiding and not dealing with your taxes will cause you harsh legal and financial ramifications. But right now, the IRS offers forgiveness and writes off a massive amount of tax debt. The Tax Doctor offers a free service that helps people get out of IRS collections and back in good standing with the government. Don't hide or bury your head in the sand. Take advantage of our free service. Call now to learn more. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. That's 800-816-4492.
Football Full Circle.
What else do you want on Football Full Circle?
No, nothing. We're starting to dive into win totals and everything else. Let me just say, you mentioned the Hall of Fame game. Let's not forget the Hall of Fame game last year, baby. It railed right through that total, up, and away. Everybody loves betting the under. Sell!
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to SportsGrid, doing our part to spread the winning edge nationwide. Terrestrial, internet, TV, satellite, and our mobile app. Face it, you're one of us. One of us. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Go right back at it. Final segment here of the day. Major League Baseball back in full effect, Kevin. By the way, the Los Angeles Dodgers struggling right now. The Milwaukee Brewers 1 game out of the best record overall in Major League Baseball. Quite a surge for them. Most people can notice, hey, it's Christian Yelich on that team and everybody else. and yet they continue to play really good baseball. But the Dodgers, Kevin, the question coming up now, Freddie Freeman plunked with a pitch yesterday. Maybe he's out of lineup. Mookie Betts stinks right now. You take a look at waiting on guys to come back off of the injured list, which includes Max Muncy. And then you take a look and say to yourself, like, things aren't looking so good for the Dodgers. Any panic there is the overall favorites? Because the only thing holding them up right now is Shohei Ohtani, and that's it. And he pitches tonight, Kevin, as maybe an extra 3 or 4 innings. Come on now.
Ohtani is now I was wondering, Donnie, if he'd go all the way back down to 1 because of the All-Star break. If they'd be like, we gotta hit the reset button on this.
Yep.
The Dodgers, I think it's all in the eye of the beholder. In this is they feel so underwhelming. And they what, Donnie, are like a game back at Detroit for the best record in baseball, 2 games back for the best record in baseball.
Yep.
So I think it shows the cracks. It shows that they are beatable, but I also haven't ruled out, like, talk to me in September. Like, do they find a way to bring everyone back, and at that point they feel like the absolute juggernauts of Major League Baseball once again? So I think that kind of becomes a really interesting thing to follow here, Donnie. They're so interesting. They are so totally interesting, though, because like if they don't win the Worlds, like whether or not you win the World Series, right? Like it's a tough thing to do. Like if they don't win the World Series, then what? Like they just run it back? Like can they do crazier things? Like they're never satisfied even when they win a World Series. Like that's what I'm saying. Like how could they spend more? Like it's so fascinating.
Now it is fascinating.
Yeah,
struggling.
right.
And the ebbs and flows of the season, the expectations will be just fine. But I saw that like Ohtani Price today. Like, okay, you might go 3 innings tonight, and then you have a Dustin May come in behind him. There's a chance that they lose again tonight, which you didn't even think like the Dodgers would go on like a 2-game losing streak this season, entering like how powerful they were, and to see them struggling right now. It's just a matter of the Giants playing terrible baseball behind them. Maybe the Padres can try to catch them. And are we selling for the Arizona Diamondbacks? So Eugenio Suarez hits 2 home runs every single night. Like he went from, hey, get a mid-league prospect to I want your best prospect in your organization to get Eugenio Suarez, which everybody's gunning for players down the stretch in the final week to week and a half of the season. It's interesting to see how these teams are going to react. But a full Major League Baseball slate today, sort of selling back in. It's always tough for me, Kevin. The Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after the All-Star break, now we're back into it. But also, like the Phillies yesterday, terrible performance out of Ranger Suarez, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Why? He had extra time off. Like Zach Wheeler's on the mound tonight against the Red Sox, who are a pretty good team, a minus 200 favorite. And I look at that and go like, am I going to get like Zach Wheeler? Like, hey, man, I just didn't have my arm slot in the right position because I was off for like double the time I'm used to. So I look tonight and I like Schwarber and like Harper if you're just betting the Phillies, because Walker Buehler has been bad. Like I expect the Phillies actually to hit tonight with those 2 guys. I'd rather lay the RBI props on those 2 than Zach Wheeler on the mound saying like, oh, we'll be a 7 innings, one earned run, and the Phillies go away with an easy victory. I'd rather just take RBI props tonight, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated to see the Skeens-Wheeler duel, Donnie. You know, the remainder of the way here, because it feels as if it is this perfect moment of figuring out what matters in Major League Baseball. And I do not want that to sound like I am downplaying how great Zach Wheeler is. Yeah. Zach Wheeler has a case, Donnie, to be the Cy Young regardless of record. Yep. But Paul Skeens right now is pitching to the best ERA in baseball, right? At 4-8. Like, Donnie, I just came across, I was looking at some like Roger Clemens, Cy Young stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And there was like a year where it's like, oh, Roger maybe deserved that one. And then you realize like, yeah, but you know what? He got his fair share because there's a season he was like 20-3. Yep. And like, that's why Roger Clemens won Cy Young, not because of his whip, whatever it might be. Like, I want to watch those 2 continue to move forward. And if we get some separation where, Donnie, we actually go, Skeens is pitching better, but I'm not giving you Cy Young at 4-8. Like, it's one of the most, again, I really believe the second half of Major League Baseball is set up for just so many incredible storylines. Like, I feel very interested, Donnie, in Major League Baseball in a way that I just want to speak positively about it. I'm really excited by it.
Yeah, and by the way, you take a look at the MVP market. Aaron Judge minus 650. Ohtani was minus 800 last week. He's minus 1450 today. That number should be minus 2 million, as he's going to run away with the NL MVP.
Just because he's
and
pitching?
rightfully so, people. Just because he's pitching, people. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Moneyline will return. Thanks for tuning in, JP, for Donnie, and also Kevin.
What makes life worth living. Actionable insights, analysis, odds, and expert perspective on sports gaming.